Hey y'all, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And in today's video, as you guys saw from the thumbnail and the title, we are going to be diving into a brand new brand to me, a brand new palette that has just launched. This is from Gourmande girls. They've been a brand that I've had my eye on for quite a while now, but they just launched their Ethereal palette. And if you guys haven't seen, look at this gorgeous, gorgeous palette. It just, trust me when I say that, showing it on screen doesn't do it justice because it's just so much more beautiful in person. But yeah, they launched this new palette and they actually reached out to me a couple weeks ago and were like, hey, we're launching a new palette. Are you at all interested? And as I said, I've had my eye on the brand for a while. I've heard you guys recommend them to me as being a great brand for getting those beautiful shimmery type of, sparkly multi-chrome, duochrome type of shadows. So I said yes, and I'm so glad I did because this palette right here, this is an all shimmer palette I can get down with, because if you guys haven't heard me say before, all shimmer palettes I tend to not be crazy about. However, now that I have an all matte palette that I absolutely love, the Blend Buddy Blends palette, I'm like, you know what, I can try out all shimmer palettes, and I'll just always reach for this palette to review them or to do looks with them. And also with this palette, I am just so captivated and I am in love with the fact that all of the shimmers are very different from each other. There's no two shimmers that are like so close, or it's not just like a wash of different shades of like purple and pink that I often see a lot of the times. No, we have purple and pink, yes, but we also have blue, we have green, we have gold, we have like a peachy tone up here, and a lot of them have shifts to different types of colors. So I wanted to go ahead and sit down and not only do a look on my face, but I also want to swatch them all out on my eyes. So I'm going to take each and every one of these and just put it all over my lid with a base underneath so we can see what they look like on their own and get a good feel for the palette, because just doing one look with an all shimmer palette I feel like just doesn't give me a good feel for it, because I can only use one or two or three tops. Like today I used three using an inner corner, but even the inner corner is such a small area. So I wanted to do eye swatches, so that is what we're going to do today. Let's dive right in and get into the eye swatches, and then after that I'll go ahead and show you guys how I created this look very briefly with just some music background, and then we'll meet back here at the end to give you guys my first impressions. So let's get right into the video. We're gonna dive right in. For my eyes, I'm just gonna be using the GlamLite eyeshadow and Eye-Cing in the shade Buttercream. Just gonna use that for all of the bases, just to have something kind of sticky tacky when I put it on and not just a bare lid, because I always have some type of primer on my lid whenever I do my eyes. And then I'm also gonna be using, to start out with, the E4 brush from Colourpop. It's just a nice flat brush that I tend to really like, and we'll change it up if we need to, if the formula is different or not working. But here is what the palette looks like. I'm gonna start with Pure on my left eye and then Astrid on my right eye. So let's get going. All right, so just gonna start, and I'm just gonna do it as if kind of as if I would pack it on my eyes for a shimmer, and just kind of take it all the way out. I'm not going to do anything super fancy to end it off. I'm basically just kind of wanting to show you guys how it looks on the eyes, since I can't, I can only use so many shades when I do the eye look. So I want to show you guys how they all look on the eyes. But I'm not going to make it like super fancy. We'll just come out here. This shade is picking up pretty well. It's a little flaky, but not too much. This is definitely a texture, like I think you guys can see a little bit of flakes here. It's definitely a texture where I would want to use a eyeshadow, a glitter primer. That's the word I'm looking for. A glitter primer, just to help make sure it sticks down. I mean, it's sticking down just fine right now for the purposes of this eye swatching video, but if I was gonna wear this all day, I definitely want a type of glitter primer, and then depending on how it wears, if I have problems with it flaking throughout the day, I would definitely put something on top. But this formula is honestly not that bad. It's a little flaky, I'm just cleaning off my brush on my Sigma switch if you're curious for the sound. It's a little flaky, a little textured, but honestly not bad, and it's very pretty. It's got a lot of sparkle to it, nothing shifty. I don't know which ones are supposed to be multichromes, which ones are supposed to be duochromes. I'm just telling you what I see. Not super incredibly shifty from right here, but definitely sparkly, definitely very vibrant, definitely very beautiful. So very, very nice. I'm gonna finish cleaning off this brush. So far this brush is working great, so I'm gonna use it for the next eye, which is Astrid. Dipping into the pan, it's not like super like jelly formula. It's actually a bit soft, where if I'm playing playing with it too much, let me see if I can show you guys. If I'm playing with it and like pushing in too much, it can actually like flake off. It kind of reminds me of that Adept formula from the Heather Austin palette. They're like super flaky textured ones. I forget the name of them, but some of hers would just almost like flake off in sheets when I would really press into the pan. And that's how the texture that's what the texture makes me think of. But also when I'm picking it up, it's not picking up as textured and chunky as the Adept Heather Austin palette that I have. It's a little bit more smooth, at least what transfers is more smooth. So yeah, I don't know. This shade looks definitely one of like the multichromes or duochromes, but this is looking super pretty. This is definitely something that, depending on like what you pair it with in the form of like colors on the lid, it'll kind of shine differently or just kind of stand out differently. Definitely like a white base if you want to really make it pop, or even I guess a black base, but just some type of base because it's such a faint pink. It does honestly remind me of one of those shades in the Adept and Heather Austin palette. I can't think of it, but I do remember there being one somewhat like this. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, definitely a shift from like an icy white to a pink, I guess. And it's more of a subtle, especially since I'm just using this alone on the eyes. If I was using this with you know, a bunch of other colors and mattes in my crease, this would stand out a whole lot more. I just, that's my assumption, I guess. I'm thinking that it would from experience of other shades. I feel like these don't look like incredibly special or anything crazy, you know, but by themselves, but when you put it in a look, it's like, wow, so beautiful. A little bit of flaking that came off as I was putting it on, but again, it goes on while it's a little bit flaky when you pick it up. It goes on relatively smooth. And honestly, this side doesn't look that textured at all. But yeah, this is really pretty. And again, that shift is like a pink to an icy white maybe. Very beautiful. Both of these are very beautiful. This is gonna be like a gorgeous inner corner highlight. Or if I use it with like, you know, oranges and reds and yellows, the yellow green in it is gonna look so beautiful. Maybe that is a shift then, because I see some like yellow, maybe, but a little bit of green maybe. Beautiful. All right, I'm just gonna be a sparkly mess by the end of this video. Honestly, I'm planning to go wash my face after this and before I do my eyes or like do my makeup for the day, so I really don't mind that there's a lot of like sparkle fallout everywhere. It's fine. Okay, so now we're going to do Exquisite and Radiant. So we'll do Exquisite on my left and Radiance on my right. Okay, this shade as I'm pressing into it doesn't really have that flaky aspect to it that Astrid did. It's a little crumbly if I really go in there, but it doesn't flake off in sheets like the Astrid shade did. And it's not wanting to pick up that great with this brush. So let me see if I can get any on, and then I'm probably gonna switch brushes just to see if a different one is gonna help. Yeah, that's not picking up anywhere near as beautiful as this shade is showing in the pan, so I'm going to switch out with, I'm gonna grab this brush, which is a little bit more like a blending brush I use for mattes, but I feel like it might grip on to the shade a little bit and help deposit it, and it's still flat enough where it's not going to blend it everywhere. So let's see if it can pick it up better. A little bit better. But honestly, I think this might just be a finger type of applicator. So I'm gonna take, this is a sponge tip applicator. I just picked it up from an Ulta order. They just had it available in these like nice full size kind of tall brushes because I didn't like the smaller ones. I would always lose them. But yeah, I can link them down below if I can find them still. But I love having these on hand. Definitely, I feel like everyone used to dog on these, but they're nice if you are someone like me who doesn't like to get your finger dirty, because I don't like getting my finger dirty, but these do what my finger does, so I always like that I can keep my fingers clean. Okay. Very, very beautiful. This is definitely helping. Yeah, finger's the way to go, or a little sponge tip applicator. I don't have a silicone brush. I wonder if those would work as well too. I know there's a couple brands that sell those. Okay, this is super pretty. You guys can see that shift. It's like from pink to purple blue. I hope you can see that shift. But yeah, this is definitely really pretty. And I like that it's not super textured. I like that it doesn't look, you know, it's pretty smooth. And again, it could be because I'm using it like my finger or this sponge tip, but it's very smooth on my eyes. Doesn't look textured at all. And digging into the pan with the sponge tip applicator didn't disturb it or make it come off in sheets or anything like that. So I like the texture of that one as well. Let's move on to Radiance. I'm gonna clean my brush and just try with my brush as well, just because it seems like there's, you know, kind of different textures in here. So I wanna try this first, kind of like my tried and true brush, and then we'll move on to fingers or sponge tip applicator if I need to. So now going into Radiance, this shade looks so pretty. It's like an orange. So pretty. Ooh, that picks up really easy. It doesn't like flake up or like come off in sheets in the pan. Oh, this is gonna be so pretty. I just know it. Again, it could be because it's orange, because I do like a good orange, but oh my goodness, it's got like a greeny aspect to the shift. This one, I might have to use this one today. I don't know, but there's some greens and yellows in here too. Definitely want to use those. Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. Hope it's coming across on camera. This picks up very easy with a brush, very nice. Doesn't come off like in, you know, kind of sheets or flaky or anything in the pan. It's a little crumbly like a regular shadow, but nothing super shocky, and nothing kind of like comes off in sheets like I was saying with that Astrid one. So not as messy in the pan. And then putting it on your lid, oh my goodness. Okay, this one's my favorite so far. It goes from like a white green shift to like a peachy orange shift, or maybe it's just peach, but I see a little bit orange in there. Both of these are beautiful, but you guys know I'm gonna love the orangey, this orangey peachy whatever shade so much more, and the shift in this one is very strong. I feel like it's very easy for me to see as I turn my head. The peach and the kind of like yellow green aspect shine of it come through. This one's so pretty, and the texture also is very smooth, and just looking at them, like I don't feel like I'm gonna have issues with them flaking and falling on my face throughout the day. It's very nice and it looks just very pretty on my eyes. Okay, so next we're gonna do Ethereal on my left eye and then Nova on my right. Ethereal, let's dive into that. Looks like just a really gorgeous shimmer. I don't see much of a shift. Multichrome or duochrome picks up really easy with the brush. Definitely looks a little bit more flaky, so I'm gonna be careful because I picked up a lot to place it down, and then I'll kind of smooth it out like I do. Ooh, this is like super pigmented. Like I like the color base. I do enjoy, you know, a multichrome, a sparkly shadow, but when shades just have a really good pigmented base that you can just, it takes no work to apply because the color is so intense. I love that. Like there's no need to build this shade up. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, maybe a little bit of a shift, maybe like a duochrome, because it's definitely like green. It's got a green black base. I don't know. It definitely has a dark base, but then the shine that it hits definitely is like a yellow green, like a lime green as you turn your head. This shade is so pretty as well. Wow, I'm gonna have a hard time deciding which one to use for my first look. But this one's very pretty, so I like it. Very smooth to go on, very pigmented as I was saying. The base is great, so let's put Nova on the other side. Okay, this one not like flaky in the pan, but a little bit tough to pick up. It looks like I picked up enough. We'll see how it goes. And it's not flaking up in the pan. It's pretty like smooth. Not saying it's like hard pressed, but it's just a smooth shade. Okay, so now let's apply this. Very smooth to apply. Like there's nothing flaky or like crumbly at all about this shade. Very beautiful. This is like a really pretty blue, but then the shift that you see, the sparkle that you see, the shine is like a violet. Maybe a little bit of pink in there. Very pretty. This shade's gonna take a little bit of while of like applying, just because, like I said, it's not that it's firmly pressed, it's just so slick. It takes a little while to pick it up on the brush and then put it on the eyes, and you kind of work in little steps as you're seeing me do. So it's gonna be one of those shades, unlike this side that I just felt like it took 2 dips in the pan and it was all over my eyes. This is taking, I don't know, 4, 5, 6. Definitely a lot more, but ooh, there's definitely a shift. Yeah, it's like a blue, and then the shift is like a pink or violet. Super pretty and very smooth. I always like, you know, with very gorgeous shifty multichromes, you know, beautiful shadows, I don't like when they're super textured, because then I feel like it gets all over my eyes by the end of the day, but also you get fallout on your face, and also can like clump off. So if you're someone with like deep set or hooded eyes, it can just make it look a little bizarre by the end of the day, I guess, or at least for me, I always felt like it did. So anyway, I like when they're smooth but still beautiful and sparkly. So I think you guys can see this shift. Very pretty kind of seafoam blue, but then there's that purple it's like a lavender pink shift to it that's very beautiful. Both of these, oh my goodness, so pretty. Wow, I really like both of them. I'm just gonna sit here and do this the whole video. All right, moving right along. My face is just gonna get super sparkly by the end of this video. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm not really worried about making my face look super clean between these swatches. Next, we're gonna do Shangri-La. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, on my left eye, and then Lucent on my right eye. And diving into it again, okay. Very pigmented. It reminds me of Ethereal, the green I put on this eye last time. It's got a lot of like pigment to it. Yeah, easy to pick up, very smooth in the pan, very beautiful. I have like a fuzzy on my eye. This shade looks just very smooth and easy to use. Ooh, I grabbed too much. Definitely had some fallout, but not like flaky. This isn't like a flaky fallout. I just grabbed too much on my brush. What was this? Just about 3 dips in the pan, and I feel like I got my entire eyelid. So, and again, one of those shades that you don't have to like work really hard to apply and put it on, and super smooth. Like, I like that it's like shiny, sparkly, but it's like very smooth on my eyes. It doesn't look textured at all. It doesn't emphasize any of the texture on my eyelid. Doesn't have as strong a shift as the other shades, but definitely is shiny and has a tiny little shift, and it's just a nice smooth pigmented color. So if you're someone who likes more just simple colors with a lot of shine to it, this is definitely one of them. So smooth on the eyes, not really any fallout, no new fallout, maybe one little dot right there. But yeah, very nice, very beautiful. So now we're gonna go into Lucent, which is that yellow. Really make sure I cleaned off my brush well. This shade, okay, it's kind of like, as I dip into it, reminding me of like a Super Shock, because it's kind of moving around the pan like that. Picks up really well though, looks like. And let's see, ooh, this shade again, kind of reminds me of one of the shades from that, you know, the first 2 that we swatched. A little more like subtle. This is something that you really need to like use with a eye look to really make it stand out, at least for my skin. I feel like my skin tone isn't doing it justice, but fairly easy to apply, very smooth for sure. Nothing like flaky, and it's picking up very easy. Like, I get tons on my brush and it's going on pretty easy. Maybe it's giving some fallout, but with this color I really can't tell compared to the rest of my face. Maybe there's a shift to it, but it's hard to see because this is so light. This is gonna be like a really pretty inner corner highlight type of look. And yeah, it definitely has a shift, but it's such a light color and the shift is so faint. It's hard to see, but I think it's like a green to yellow shift. But both of them are very like iridescent in tone, so it's hard to catch. Maybe if I had like a dark base to put this on top, it would stand out more. Oh, there's even a little pink in there. I can't see the pink on my eyes, but on my finger, definitely see a little bit of a pink at some angles. So maybe if I move my head more, I would see more of a pink. All right, so next up we're gonna go into, we got 4 more. Dream on my left eye, and then Lunar on my right eye. So we got a pink and a blue. I'm just gonna pick up Dream, and this one is picking up, again, kind of like one of those shades that are a little bit more firmly pressed, doesn't, you know, it's not flaking off as I'm dipping into it. It's a little tough to get on my brush, but it's still going. So let's see how it looks when I put it all over my eye. Ooh, this is pretty. It's like a pink, almost like a fiery color. Hot pink, maybe? Very pretty. A little flaky the more I kind of press in if I go really hard, but looks like it can be kind of smoothed out fairly easily. Very pretty. I don't see any type of shift, maybe a bit of a yellow shift. I'm bad at picking out shifts. I feel like I'm gonna say that a million times in this video, but I am not an expert when it comes to multichromes and duochromes and shifty shadows. That is definitely Millie from Bad to the Brow. If she did a video on this, I will definitely link it down in the description box. But even if she hasn't, I'll link her channel because she is so on top of everything shifty, everything multichrome, and she just has so many like eye swatches, eye looks, comparisons when it comes to shadows like this. She has, you know, tried a ton of indies, so definitely recommend her channel. But here's what it looks like. Maybe a little bit of a like a gold shift in the pink. Yeah, maybe a little goldy in the pink. I can see from this angle definitely looks gold, but then you hold it up straight and it's like this pink on the eyes. I don't know if this gold is gonna actually come across on camera, especially with it being so light on my skin tone. Again, something to keep in mind, but Very pretty for sure, and very smooth. Again, one of those shades, it seems like, you know, we only got 3 more to go, but so far only one of them, Astrid, has been super flaky and kind of like coming off in sheets in the pan, and then a little bit flaky on the eyes. All the other ones, this one included so far, very smooth, very nice. So let's move over to Lunar. This shade, I'm gonna guess, is more of like just pigmented color with maybe a shift to it, but just a lot of shine, because wow, that picked up pretty easy. And dipping into the pan, it does not, doesn't flake, it doesn't move around like a Super Shock. It's just more of like a sleek type of shade. Okay, so this one, while it's looking pretty pigmented, it's ooh, got too much. Okay, that made a mess. Definitely gonna be a shade that you have to like work in small sections to apply, because I just made a mess trying to dig up a lot, and I made a mess in the pan as well. So there's flaky bits everywhere. Let me press it back down. I think that was my fault though, because I was kind of going in a little heavy-handed, just because I was like, maybe if I press in more, it'll go on my eyes more. It's going on smooth once I got all that fallout everywhere. I'm pressing it back into the pan, and it's going back in pretty easy. This is a nice color. It's one of those shades that like what you see in the pan is what you get on your eyes. It's very blue, very shiny, very pretty. Yeah, no big complaints. It's going on pretty easy with the brush. I think, what was there, only one shade that I had to switch up and use sponge tip applicator to get it to go on so far. Okay, good enough. Here is where we are at. So I think it looks really nice and pretty. It was definitely flaky there for a moment, but again, I think that was my fault because I really dug into the pan. But overall, very pretty, very pigmented. It's got a lot of nice color. I don't personally see a shift. Maybe a little bit of violet when I turn it on its side. I see a little bit of violet when I'm looking at my finger from an angle, but still super pretty, very shiny, and very smooth. We're gonna go on to the last two. We have Indigo and Emerge. Oh my goodness, this looks so pretty. I can't wait to try this one. Indigo is gonna go on my left eye, and then Emerge is gonna go on my right eye, and then we'll have to swatch the whole palette. Again, so far, like, I feel like no two shades are super alike, which I like. Okay, going into Indigo, I hope you guys, let me know if you guys like me to describing the texture of the shadow. A little bit crummy, or like kind of, not flaking, but a little bit crummy as I'm picking it up. Again, I kind of go a little bit heavy-handed sometimes, but going on, wow, this one's smooth. This one reminds me of another one in this palette. I'll have to look at afterwards. So here I was saying they're all super different, but maybe it's just my memory misremembering. But this is like a pinky violet, and then maybe there's that indigo blue in the Multichrome. Definitely some type of shift going on here. It's very subtle. Again, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera. So sorry about that. I even tried to put my aperture down a little bit. Feel like it didn't. I could have probably made it a little bit darker, but anyway, live and learn. I will definitely learn for future all shimmer palettes that I do on my channel like this. So let me know if there's any kind of improvements I can make for doing, you know, swatching an all shimmer palette on my eyes. Very pretty, super smooth. Like I said, a little bit crumbly in the pan. Honestly, didn't make that big of a mess though. Not that big a deal for me. And on the eye, so smooth. These are the type of really beautiful, shiny, shimmery, sparkly shades that I like, because they look so smooth on my eyes. And the shift is definitely some type of indigo. Maybe that's where they thought of the name, but definitely some type of like blue purple or something. Very, very pretty. I just touched into the other shades that were similar. Maybe it was Dream, the one that we did before, but it's definitely a lot more pink than what this is what I have on my eyes. And then the other two that were close, very, very different. So nothing super close to this, except for maybe, like I said, Dream, which is what this one right here. But again, I don't think if I swatched them side by side on my eyes, they would be similar. I think they're just kind of pinky toned, so I was like, oh, it looks like something I've done before. So diving into Emerge, this one, let's see, picking up very nice, not making a mess in the pan, doesn't seem like it's struggling to pick up, picking up really easy. And let's see, nice and smooth, pretty pigmented. Kind of reminds me of that green, what was it, Ethereal that we did, but like a gold medallion type of shade. A little bit flaky maybe in the pan, but as I'm putting it on, it's smoothing out and doesn't really look like it's causing a ton of fallout. With this palette though, and in general, this is definitely a palette, yeah, I got a little messy there, that I would do my eyes first and then my face, because I feel like with most of these shades, maybe Astrid, I might have some fallout throughout the day, but with most of these shades, they're so smooth, I don't really think I'll struggle with fallout at all throughout the day. But just applying them, some of them are a little messier than others, so I'd want to do my eyes first and then clean off my face and put on my face makeup. Very pretty. There is a little bit, is that like a, maybe a shift to it? I can't spot the shift. Maybe orange and yellow, or like a bronze and yellow, so that's why it's so hard for me to put my finger on it. But definitely very smooth, very shiny, the shine just stands out as you shift. Very, very beautiful, sparkly. Very nice, and that is the last shadow. I can't believe it, but so pretty. So at this point, we've swatched the whole palette. I'm gonna go ahead and go clean off my face, and then we're gonna do the music overlay where I do a look, create a look with this. But before I do that, I do wanna take Astrid, that shade right there. It's just bugging me. I feel like there's a shade in the Austin, Adept Heather Austin palette, and this is the one I was thinking of, Passports. So I'm just gonna swatch it on my finger. So here is Passports, and then here is Astrid. Oh yeah, those are super similar. This is Astrid from Gourmande Girls, and this is Adept's Passport. The Gourmande Girls has a touch more depth to it. So what did I say? Gourmande Girls, and then Passports. A little bit more depth to it, but the Gourmande Girls is a lot smoother. Still flaky. I think that is still the flakiest shadow in this pan, or in the palette for Gourmande Girls, but it's smoother than the Passports one. So, something to note, the Passports one is more blinding though, as I think you guys can see, but I do like that this is a little bit more smooth, because that was my biggest complaint with Passports and Austin. Like, yes, they were beautiful, but I didn't like the mess that they made when I put them on, and then what they did to my face throughout the day. It just made a huge mess. So that's a little nugget of something. If you were curious at all about that, definitely very comparable, very similar. Okay, I'm gonna go get cleaned up, and I'm gonna do eye look on my eyes, and then we will get back to chatting at the end of the video. Okay, you guys already saw the final look in the intro, but this is me kind of coming back on to chat with you guys a little bit about my first impressions on the Ethereal palette. First impressions, I am incredibly impressed. Overall, I think there was only one shade, Astrid, that I felt like was a little flaky and a little messy, and I'm not sure how I'll like that, but besides that shade, all of them were very smooth on the eyes. There was nothing super textured when I put it on, and the ones that were like super pigmented and like had a lot of color were very easy to apply. And just like as a whole, the palette is very smooth on my eyes. Like even now there's so much sparkle, so much shine going on, but there's no kind of like flakes standing out. There's not a whole lot of texture standing out. It looks very smooth on my eyes. So I have a lot of hopes that I'm not going to get a ton of fallout on my face, or it's not going to look like super liney and texture by the end of the night. So yeah, overall, very impressed. I can't wait to continue trying it, and I'll definitely bring you guys my full review in a future palette palooza whenever that is, but I'm going to have a lot of fun playing with this palette. I just know it. It's going to take me longer to review because, like I said, I can only use a couple of shades, you know, each time I do my eye look, and really be able to test these out, not only using them together, using them on their own, seeing which ones have a strong multi-chrome shift and whatnot, but also wear time for the different shades and the different textures within this palette. So it'll be a little while, but I definitely want to share with you guys my first impressions on this palette and just share with you guys my thoughts and eye swatches as soon as I could around the launch of this palette. And also, I didn't say in the beginning, but packaging wise, I think this packaging is absolutely beautiful. I really like it. It's not anything too crazy and like, you know, out there and extravagant, but it's simple, beautiful, and captures the essence of the palette with this watercolor of all these gorgeous colors. It really does symbolize what you'll find inside the palette. But first thoughts, if you are looking at this palette wondering, you know, if I would recommend buying it or not, if you like the shades inside and you saw all the eye swatches that I did and you like those colors, the formula, just playing with it, I am super impressed. So I think it would definitely be a worthwhile purchase for you if you don't have a lot of all shimmer palettes and you're wanting to add some of those really special type of shades to your collection. I definitely would recommend this palette because, again, it gives you all the shine, it gives you all the, you know, the gorgeousness of these shifty shadows without all of that texture, without all of that mess that some brands can have that I'm just not a fan of. So I love that about this palette, and I cannot wait to continue using it. So with that said, that is going to do it for me for this video. As always, I hope this video was informative and helpful for you guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, kind of as I said during the eye swatches. Let me know if there's anything I can do for swatching an all shimmer palette, anything in the future I can comment on or show or do that would make it more helpful for you guys. Feel free to let me know that down below in the comments. And with all that said, that is going to do it for me. As always, you can find me over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 over there, and I post reels, up close eye swatches, all that sort of thing. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.